y'all, welcome to Cooking on the Farm. I'm Rachel, and today we harvested our survival seed challenge beets. It wasn't a whole lot, but it looks like every single one that we planted did produce something. So we're gonna get these pickled up today. Come on in, let's show our ingredients. So our ingredients that you're gonna need are some sort of a pickling spice, whether you make your own or get a blend. I get a blend because it's way easier. You're gonna need vinegar, 2.5 cups. You're gonna need 1 cup of water and 1 cup of granulated sugar and about 10 cups of beets. By the way, it's like 74 degrees in my house because you got water bath canner going and boiling water and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go change my shirt real quick. One, because it's light colored and I'm working with beets, and that just, those two things don't work, and it's long sleeve and I'm really warm. So I have boiling water here, and I chose all the beets that are about the same size to put in the pot. So we're gonna get these guys kind of a par cooked. We're gonna cook them enough that the skins start to slip off. They will finish cooking in the canner. So we're gonna bring these to a boil, and we're gonna let them boil for about 10 minutes and then see when I push them with a fork if I can scrape the skins off. If I can, I will put them back in the bowl, put them in cold water in my sink. I am using the Ball Complete Home Book of Preservation. The recipe that I'm following is on 309 if you wanna follow along. So I've read my recipe. I always highlight the recipe and then the amount of time it takes once the canner starts. I am gonna work on the pickling brine while the beets are par cooking. Okay, so I have 2.5 cups of water and 1 cup of water in here. So when you're working with vinegar, do not lean over your pot when it's boiling. It'll clean out everything in your sinuses. I am measuring out. I had to use, I've killed off one of my containers of my pickling spice. 3 tablespoons of that, 1 cup of sugar. Because the pickling spice mixture is loose in my pan, I will have to strain this. I am going to bring this guy up to a boil. So see how this is peeling off a little bit? I'm gonna give it like 1 more minute, I think. So this has boiled for 15 minutes. I stirred it occasionally. I did put a lid on it because I didn't want it to all evaporate. Now I'm gonna pour it through a strainer, and then I'm gonna rinse out this really quick to get out any little seeds. I'm gonna keep this just in case I need to make a little bit more. Right there. So let's see. It evaporated out just shy of a 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna pour this back in. I am going to just leave the lid on it because it's off, it's not doing anything, it's just sitting here. I'm gonna pull my beets and rinse them really quick. I am also cleaning a bunch of green beans in my sink. So we're gonna do this really interestingly. I'm just gonna pull my beets, let them drain a little bit, put them in here. That's still on. I'm gonna bring the smaller ones in now. Put some cold water on these. So these are the small ones. They're probably gonna go in for, I did the other ones for about, I think they ended up being 20 minutes. I'm gonna put these in for 10 and check them. I just put these in really cold water. I'm sloshing them around a little bit. You can see my beautiful green and purple beans in here. They're floating and soaking. What I do is you just wipe it. I squeeze it like this and slide my hand down like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just, like the stem end here, I'll wipe as much as I can. And if it doesn't wipe off, I'm just gonna cut just like that. And if the skins are not coming off very easily, it just means you didn't cook them long enough. So I have water in my canner to about there-ish. And then I have clean jars that I have washed super thoroughly with hot water. And then they're setting in my, I've not dropped them down, but the water's touching the bottoms of them. I'm gonna get this guy heating up because you want everything to be the same temperature. So this has been boiling. This needs to be hot, or else your jars will break and you'll lose all your product. So I'm gonna finish cleaning off the skins of those beets, and then I'm gonna bring them over here. I'm actually gonna slice them because I love pickled beets on my salad. Okay guys, so I am just going to slice these in bite-sized pieces here. I'm leaving them about 1/4 inch pieces. So on the bigger ones, I'm gonna kind of slice them a little bit more. You could dice these. I used to leave them in rounds, and every time I pulled them out to make a salad, it was like, ugh, now I have to chop them. And it was like, you know, it was more work, and I don't need more work when I'm trying to get dinner on the table. So this glass container that I'm working with, I believe, yes, it's an 8 cup. So I'm gonna fill this up, and it says this recipe should do 10 cups. So we'll see if we get that. We may not, we don't know. These are all the beets except for a few that we left out because we are going to save seeds. Those are still in the box thing. I'm going to get these all in here. I hope they fit. And then once they have been brought to a boil, I will ladle out the beets, put them in the jars, and then I will spoon the liquid over them to fill to the proper headspace. I'm gonna get that to boil really quick, and then I'm gonna start pulling out my jars and getting them ready after I wash my hand. So I actually had to make more brine because I don't think I'm gonna have enough. And honestly, if I have too much, I'll just use it for pickles later. Okay, so I'm gonna fill these, and on my recipe it says with a generous 1/2 inch from the top of a jar. I'm gonna go all the way up. And these are in pint jars, dripping all over my stove. And because this does have sugar in it, it is sticky. So we will need to definitely wipe our top of our jars down. And these beets, it looks like they let off a bunch of juices because they did cook for quite a while in there. I think it took about 20 minutes for them to come up to a boil. There's quite a lot of sauce brine in here, so we might actually have enough. So I am going to take this syrup brine, just pouring this in there, topping it off. You have to debubble these because there's a lot of airspace in there. The other thing is, beets are considered a low acidic food, so normally you would be pressure canning these, but because of the vinegar brine mixture, we are free and safe to water bath can. So I'm just taking a chopstick and I'm poking this down, and you can see on this one especially that the head space went down a lot. It was way up here at 2 or a 1/2 inch, and it's way down probably below 1.5 inches. So you want to poke quite a bit. It's not just 2-3 pokies and you're done. You want to poke quite a bit. You want to make sure you go back behind and refill up to that 1/2 inch headspace. Let's see, I have a measuring thing. Let's see, 1/2 inch is your second notch. So this guy needs a titch more. So here's my other brine. So again, I am just going to use a measuring cup and add more liquid to these till it's a 1/2 inch headspace. I just got a paper towel, put some vinegar on it. So even though I used the funnel, these are super dirty. So as you're checking these, you are feeling for it to catch on something, which means you would have a broken glass. A lot of people use their finger. I'm using a paper towel, and I can feel with the paper towel if there's any like bad spots. So fingertip tight is just your fingertips. It's not. So I keep my old lids for like situations like this where I'm not canning it, it's just going in my fridge. So fingertip tight is just fingertip. You don't want to do this. You don't want to tighten it down because the air can't escape. So fingertip tight. These are not going directly in the water. I have this in there, so it's going in a basket. Some people put the stuff in the basket and then in this size, I put it directly in the basket. So you want to do opposite sides. I start at my handles And because I don't have a full canner load, you just kind of want to evenly put them around. If you are worried, you could just put empty jars in there because you don't want them jostling around too much. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll throw...
Full of water?
I'm going to fill them after I put them in there. And then this guy in the center. So I'm going to grab a water jug, fill those 3 up really quick so that they can go also. So now I am going to slowly put these in. You don't want to drop them, okay? You drop them, you can sploosh out, and you don't want to do that. So I lift it a little bit, and then I just slowly put it in. And they will bubble a little bit. So you want to make sure that there is at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches above the jars. So again, this is your inch. I try to do more than that. I've only got a 1/2 inch on those, so I need a ton more water. So it has, oh my gosh, it has been 2.5 hours, but we've been waiting for this thing to boil. I ended up putting it between 2 burners, cranking them both as high as they go. We turned off our vent system and everything. I've never, ever, ever had this much trouble getting a pot of water to boil. Because there's so much evaporation, because it's been steaming and not actually boiling, we've been having to add water to it. So this, I've added to it twice now, just to keep it above it. So we are boiling, as you can see in there, a lot of bubbles. My timer, I just set it for 30 minutes. So at a rapid boil. So if the boiling at some point stops, you have to start your time completely over. If the water goes below the top of the jar, your time has to start over. So thus I'm keeping water boiling to keep adding, because there's no lid to this. I may measure the top of this and try to track down the lid for it, because this is just ridiculous. So we'll see you in 30 minutes when we bring these out. I'm going to turn the burner off, and I'm going to let these set for at least 10 minutes and then pull them out, because again, it's cooler out here than it is in there. But yeah, normally you want to wait 10 minutes or more and then pull them out. If I pulled them out now, they would siphon, like all the liquid would siphon out and can cause a false seal or break your seal. And then it will also drop the liquid below the contents and the proper headspace. Oh my gosh, look how gorgeous that is. So when you are working with any kind of canning, you do not want to tip you don't want to rock them. You want to keep them as flat as possible. You want to let I'm going to let these ones that have water in them just dump. You want to let that water naturally evaporate, which it pretty much has. I think all of these have sealed. It has been about 2 hours since these guys finished. So I am just going to let them sit here 12 hours and they will hopefully all seal, and we can put these on the shelf. So I'm going to wash them up tomorrow, label them, and put them on my shelves. All right, guys, from my kitchen to yours, I hope you guys have an amazing harvest. You can tell my kitchen is a little bit crazy right now because I've got zucchini and cucumbers and my pressure canner because I'm going to do green beans tomorrow. All right, guys, from my kitchen to yours, God bless. Good night. We harvested our oh my gosh, the ball. Oh my gosh, the ball okay. No, just in case. Vinegar got me. Whew. There's a spider on my book. Hot water bath thing here. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be super tight. I'm gonna go wash my hand because...
Hey, you're purple.
You always want to leave it. Oh, now I can't open it. Oh my gosh. Because hot.